Now we turn our attention to the Ebola outbreak. The deadly virus has claimed its first victim in the United States. 42-year-old Thomas Eric Duncan died in a Dallas hospital this morning. Here's the latest developments. Late this afternoon, another person in suburban Dallas started showing signs of Ebola. That person had been in the same apartment with Duncan, but it doesn't appear the two had direct contact. Starting this weekend, 5 U.S. airports will begin screening for the disease. They include O'Hare in Chicago, JFK, Newark, Washington Dulles, and Atlanta. CDC teams will screen passengers arriving from West Africa with the same kind of temperature check travelers now get before they can depart. But the African screening remains the priority.
Preventing individuals who are already exhibiting symptoms of Ebola from boarding a plane in the first place is the most effective measure.
Well, the Ebola crisis is a world away from West Michigan, but it is creating a dilemma for many and the many organizations with a mission to help those in West Africa.
24-hour News 8's Joe Loeffler is here with one of those stories, Joe.
Yeah, Brian, Sue, last week we told you about one mission's decision to pull their people out of those countries. Tonight, the story of another mission worker's close call with Ebola.
We've put a representation of where we've shipped product.
It was back to Africa for Spring Lake-based International Aid Procurement Director Jim Loeffler this spring. Loeffler's in charge of bringing donated medical equipment to poor nations like Liberia. Loeffler had also been monitoring an outbreak that had yet to make international headlines.
It ramped up, and we were supposed to go for this trip. We actually delayed our trip because of the Ebola, and then it started to slow down, and it looked like it was being caught.
So the decision was made to delay the trip until June. The outbreak reversed course, ramping up again, and by then, Loeffler was in Liberia. During a trip to Monrovia, he planned to show a colleague Ebola hospital, the same facility where Americans Dr. Kent Brantley and missionary Nancy Wrightbull were working. But as Loeffler drove through the campus, word began to spread. Someone at the hospital had died from Ebola.
We were literally at the front door in the car deciding whether to go in or not.
Loeffler decided going in was too risky, not just for he and his colleague, but for a system already overburdened by the crisis.
And it turns out we made a right decision. Yep. We left the end of June, and I think Dr. Brantley's, maybe the middle or end of July is when he was infected, possibly. We don't know exactly when because of the long incubation period.
So for now, international aid, like a lot of similar organizations, are carrying out their missions from afar. The need is great for the simplest of items.
And these are just bales of washcloths. It's a very dirty disease, and so you need a lot of cleaning supplies.
But those efforts from afar will not last. Loeffler says he knows he will return to the region.
I'd be careful, but I wouldn't be concerned if I went back to Liberia. I would just be extremely careful.
And again, the need for medical supplies, other health care related items is great in Western Africa. We have links to international aid as well as Christian Reform World Mission at woodtv.com.
Okay, great resource to start.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.